Yes, yes, yes. Green card lottery is free to apply, but it's not free after winning. It's just like that is sentence, the statement that you have freedom of speech, but your freedom will be determined after saying what have you said. If you say public you are going to harm the United States president, yeah, you have freedom of speech, but after that the FBI will knock at your door. Whether you say, oh, it's discrimination or not, you cannot say that you are planning to harm the president. So yes, you have freedom of speech, but your freedom is not guaranteed after saying what we said, depending on what we said. So yes, green card lottery is free to apply, to be selected. Everything is free. Once you win, there are costs associated with that. What are those costs? And the good thing is, all those costs, they are not just on day one. You have to pay them all at once. First of all, the results usually come in May, with the exception of last year and the pandemic to come in June, but it comes on the first Tuesday or the first week, the first 10 days of May, where the results are coming out. When the results are coming out, doesn't mean that tomorrow you are going to start, okay, give me chapati, so and so, mama, so and so, I'm getting ready to go to America. No, you are not going right away, because after May, the interviews are starting in October. But what is your case number? Is your case number 1? No. Your case number will determine when you will have the interview. That's something you need to know. That's why I usually tell you there's small case number, there's high, middle case number, high case number. For instance, in African case, for instance, if your number is exceeding 50,000, don't start promising your girlfriend that I will take you to America. Don't start promising that I will go and build you a small house and open you a kiosk and all these promises just to get a girl. No, don't do that, because you might not even be called for the interview. So the case number will be able to determine. As I've said, so let's say you win in May results. Your case number, let's say, is below 10,000. So below 10,000, possible by January the following year, you'll be able to do. So you have 7 months to go for the interview. But the day they are going to, after that, first of all, after winning, you have to fill the form with DSC 260, which is a visa form. It's free to fill the visa form. It's free. You don't pay anything. Then at one point, Kentucky Consular Center, Kentucky is a state, so KCC is in Kentucky, so which is a part of the Department of State. So when they're processing, they'll ask you for the documents, birth certificate, if you are married, marriage certificate, police clearance, passport, whatever, all those kind of things. If you have been in prison record. If you have been to military, you have to give the military record, all those kind of things. But after that, then 6 weeks before your interview, most of the time is 6 weeks, but if it's very, very low, it will be 4 weeks. So they'll give at least 6 weeks that you are being scheduled for the interview on this date. So once you are scheduled for the interview, that's when you are going to do the medical. So you don't do a medical before, because you do not know who is your person to do the physical. And the person for the physical, for the medical, they will never do the medical for you unless otherwise you go with the letter you have won and they schedule for the interview. Because remember, the medical expires. So if you take like very early, it will expire and you will pay again. So the medical you pay once you already have the interview date, then you are going to do. So the US Embassy, after when they give you the interview date, you'll get the email and notification from KCC, and then Embassy also get the same notification. Embassy will send you also the email with more instruction and the list of physicians or doctors in your country you can choose from where you can be able to do the medical. They are going to look on a bunch of things, but I want to assure you people, you will never be discriminated based on certain type of disease or certain type of disability. No. They're not going there to just to determine, can you run, can you do this? No. The only thing which is the biggest in medical is the tuberculosis. If you have tuberculosis TB, you will not be allowed to come to America. You will not be denied the visa. You will be told to go and get it treated first, take another test. If you are okay, you have to do, then they'll give you the visa. Why? Because in US, tuberculosis has been eradicated, so they cannot take that chance for someone to come with TB here. So that is something you need to know. So you have to do, that is the biggest part. But for Africans, most of them, I believe myself, one among even Kenya, we already have the TB vaccine. So usually the test for tuberculosis, you put your hand here, they put a certain liquid in your skin. If there is a bump, that means after 24 whatever hours, you have sign of tuberculosis, whatever. But for us, because we have vaccine since we are kids, it will test like kind of like a positive. So usually we don't do direct that one. They do X-ray direct. So that's, they do X-ray just to check your tuberculosis. They don't do HIV/AIDS. They don't do all this complicated stuff. And even if you have, they cannot discriminate you to come here. They don't test all those kind of things. Then, so how much is the medical? It depends, but average for adult is about $400 US. For children, because they're not checking so many things for the children, and most of the kids, they already have all the vaccine ready. So usually it will be smaller, maybe it can be 150 depending on the country, or 100, 150, 200 max for the children. But that is average. So you have to know if you are single, if you are married, how many kids you have, what is their age, to know how much you need to pay. You will pay them there, cash. Then they will give you when the results are done. They will give, some of the countries, they take the results, the doctors send direct to the embassy, but most of the time they give you the envelope of the results. Don't open those results. Don't play smart to open the results, because you will be denied the visa once they find out you have opened, and they will know if you have opened. That is the amount of money. So that depends on the family. Then there is a visa fee now. So the visa fee is $330 US. You will pay by cash. That one doesn't matter whether you are one day old, whether you are 50 years old, whether you are 200 years old. Everybody, as long as you get that visa for the immigrant visa, is $330. And you pay by cash. So if you are single, it's up to you. If you are 2, 5, the money goes further. Apart from that amount, then there is the amount. So there is what is called there is what we call USCIS fee, United States Citizenship and Immigration Services fee. So let me show you. This is not a green card, but I want to show, like, it's not a green card, this one. This is a passport card. So the green card is just like this one, just like a card like this one. So there is a cost of printing this one. So for the passport, it's $25. For the green card, to print this one is $220, if not mistaken, per person. So once you have been told, you have been given the visa, they'll give you a piece of paper how to pay that one online. That amount you can pay before you travel. You can pay that after arriving in America. It doesn't matter. But they will never print this. They're not going to print this card to send it to you until you pay that money. And don't worry. Even if you pay before, you can get within 4 weeks. Even if you pay here, it can take you 6 to 8 weeks. So, but it doesn't mean that if you don't have this card, you cannot work. Your visa is immigrant visa. Technically, you are allowed to work to any employer. So from the when you arrive here, the same day or next day, go to the Social Security, show your passport with that immigrant visa. They'll give you social. The social, which will not have the words with authorization, will be allowed to work to any employer, and you can start working to any employer, even if the actual card you don't have. And this card you can stay even for 5 years. Nobody has ever asked you to show me your green card, actual green card. No, because your Social Security card is linked to the system. So if you put there in any job, they know you are allowed to work because you have that social, which is linked to is a citizen or your green card holder. It will say that way because they call it the E-Verify. Electronic verification of employment. They can be able to do that to determine if you are eligible to work or not. So by green card holder, you'll be able. So if you don't have enough money, don't start paying that amount directly before coming. You can pay while you are here. I know, for instance, Carla and their family, they paid while they are here, and it didn't affect anything. My nephew paid before coming here, and it didn't affect anything. So those are the amount of the money. Then it comes to the ticket part. Depends how many you are. Which region? Are you in West Africa? Are you in East Africa? Are you in Northern Africa? Southern Africa. That's number one. Second, what airline are you traveling with? Are you using the Ethiopian Airways, the African one, or you are using KLM? Or are you using Turkish Arabic one, or you are using Emirates? The type of the airline, the day you are purchasing ticket, if you are purchasing ticket today, you are traveling next week, it will be more expensive. But if you purchase today, you are traveling next month, it will be a little bit affordable. Again, once you are given the visa, you have 6 months to travel. If you don't travel after 6 months, game over. The visa expires. So don't wait on the last month to travel. Anything can happen. You know African governments can go crazy, election, and the airport can be closed. And you can be having trouble. So once you have, I usually tell people, if they give you 6 months, try your best, don't go more than 3 months. Just in case. Because don't come into trouble of not getting it just for the mistakes which can be avoided. So those are the amount of the cost. But how much money do you need to have while you are here? That is another question you need to ask yourself. That also depends on the following factors. Factor number 1, what is the relationship and the contract you have with your host? If, let's say, you win and you say, I'm coming to be your host, I can say, okay, you'll come to my here, you will stay for 2 months for free. And then from there, you can find your own home. So obviously you know how to start. But someone can say, come here from day 1, each month you have to pay me 300. So you know for sure, the starting money will be having the rent to pay. So if you have a place when you can be able to stay at least 3 months for free, how much you need to have? I usually tell people, 5,000 will be good to start with. Because you already have that one, it will help you to get used to get sorted, find a job right away, to pay down payment, like the security deposit for the apartment, and the starting of everything. So that is also something you need to know. The relationship with your with the host, how much the relationship and everything, and how eager you are to find a job. But give yourself like, I'll be stable to have my own apartment and everything. At least after 2 months, the 3rd month, you'll be able to start doing that. Because you know how to pay the bills. You already get started. You know, like, if I'm using public transportation, or I have to purchase my own vehicle, I need to have insurance, I need to have this. You have already settled your 60 days to 90 days. Those will be enough. So that will be able to determine how much money you have. But it depends if you're a family or you are single. If you have a family, but do you have children? How old are your children? Are you able to go to put the children in daycare? You can't. It's very difficult. If they're in school age, that's very good, because the time they're in school, one can be working during the day, one can work during the night. You can be able to alternate as parents. So there are all those kind of things you can be able to figure out on how to start the life here in America.